Transparency, the quality of being easily seen through. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Healing Not Healed. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. This is a safe space where we talk about the real, raw, and unfiltered side of healing. Go back and check out episode 1. It's just a quick intro, nothing too crazy. Just a little bit of kind of where this came from, which I'm gonna have a episode where I actually do deep dive into me. Y'all, I do want to apologize for being late. This was supposed to be out 3 days ago, but life has been lifing. And I've said that before, but life has really been lifing. And I'll get a little bit into that later. But, you know, this comes in, as you saw, this episode is going to be a very transparent episode. I really feel like that is one thing I'm priding myself on with this channel and this podcast is the fact that I am healing. I am not healed. I am not perfect, but I serve a perfect God. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I told y'all the first episode gave up a couple of vices and stuff like that. Well, life hit and I backslid pretty hard. But, you know, that's always, like I said, healing isn't linear. It isn't pretty. And, you know, we're just going to dive into a hard truth about it and what it really looks like, the struggles no one talks about, and why transparency is so important in this journey. So cozy up, because I'm cozy. And let's get into it. So when I first started my healing journey, I had this idea that it was going to be a straight path. Like once I made the decision to heal and things would just start falling into place. Well, you can't do the healing without the work. I found out the hard way. It's messy. Even internally, it's pretty freaking messy. And I can say things have transpired in the past couple of weeks that have shown me that I am on the right path, but I've also can see where I have a lot of growing and learning to do. So to give y'all a backstory, like I said, this is going to be a very transparent episode, but I'm not going to get into too many details. So about 2 weeks ago, I want to say it was so it was the day after the first episode aired. It was that Sunday. I went on a run. Now, mind you, your girl don't run, okay? If I do, we're looking at a mile. Tops, okay? Tops. That's it. That's all. Well, my trainer has this run club. If y'all don't know, BFit Run Club, check it out. I'm going to always plug it because I've been now with the same trainer for 3 years and I'm doing it and I look amazing. So shameless plug, bow. So I decided I'm going to do the run club, all that. So I get there. First of all, nervous because anybody that knows me, I don't do well in crowds. You got about 30 minutes tops before I'm ready to go. 15 is really the golden spot. Nothing personal. I just freak out. Anxiety. I have very bad social anxiety. Crippling. Okay? Like sweats. Can't even talk on a meeting. But that's not even where we're going. That's not even where we're going. And I'm going to drift a lot. So bear with me. So I go. And it's quite a few people there. Some people that I've worked out with before. People I haven't. But I recognize, new faces. All that good stuff. And so basically, bare minimum 3 miles. That was what he said. In my mind, I'm like, excuse me? What? Are you sure? And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm on pre-workout. I'm jacked up. Let's go. So I was like, okay, 3 miles. I can do that. 1.5 there, 1.5 back. Bam, bam, boom. We got it. Y'all start running. I don't know if the music was good. I don't know if I caught my pace or what. I don't know what happened. But baby, I hit that mark to hit the turnaround to go and make it 3 miles. And I was like, you know what? Let me keep going. I'm going to do 4. Y'all, why I do 4? I ran 4 miles. Do you hear me? I ran 4 miles. Me. KB, I ran 4 miles. Okay? I ran 4 miles. I left that day. I cried in the car because like I pushed myself further than I even thought was possible. And so I just, thank God and all that other stuff. Like I was just like, everything was just so clear that night. I had just the sunset was beautiful. It was, your girl was glowing, sunset or not. But I felt really good. And so I got in, I ate, and I decided, I was like, let me take a shower, get myself together, all this other stuff. In that shower, I got this feeling. And at first I thought it was just like anxiety or whatever, but I couldn't shake it. Usually when I have anxiety, I get myself together. I was taking a bath. I mean, it was an Epsom salt bath. Everything was just beautiful. But I could not shake this feeling. And I kept saying, I said, something is going to happen. I don't know what it is. I was like, and at first I wanted to blame anxiety, but I was like, no, because God isn't of fear, anxiety, all those things. So I'm trying to feel like, what is this I'm feeling? Like, what is going on? And all I could say is, something's going to happen. And in that sense, I felt like I'm going to feel this feeling once again. I don't know where, I don't know how. Something's going to happen. Okay? That was Sunday night, 2 weeks ago. So Monday comes and goes, and that wasn't a decent day because like it just wasn't a good day. And the very next day, Tuesday, I had to get my car oil changed because it started making some weird noises on Monday. Right, started making so I was like, okay, let me go get an oil change. And I'm a girl. I'm just a girl. Okay, so I just assumed that was the problem. Okay. Not realizing if you hearing stuff, girl, you got bigger problems than that. But so schedule oil change. Place is literally not even a 3-minute drive. Y'all, while I get to the light right down the street from the oil change place, and my car shuts off completely in the most busiest section in Bryant, right there by Casey's. And if you know, you know. And you want to see me freak out, give me car issues. Car issues freak me out worse than I don't know what. I don't know why. I don't know what. Because the crazy thing is, this time last year, we had a snowstorm, and I hit this big old pothole in the middle of the interstate. And like it looked like somebody took a shotgun to my tire. And I had to call my father-in-law. It was a whole thing. Like I was freaking out. So yeah, I'm freaking out. And so what do? Beep, boop, beep, boop, boop. I call my ex-husband because he has our AAA information. I'm like, boom, let's get this taken care of. And I start feeling that feeling. But when I felt that feeling, I wasn't even upset because I knew why I was feeling like that. Y'all, by the time I got my car started, I got over the bridge, it died again. Out of nowhere. I didn't see this man walking or nothing. Out of nowhere, this man crosses in front of my car, puts his stuff in my car, and gets behind my car and pushes me into a parking lot by himself. Like, and then gets his stuff, checks my oil. He's like, you got oil, so that's not the problem. And I'm like, oh crap, this is a problem. And I literally put on a backpack. I walked 2 blocks down the street to the oil change place that I was scheduled to, and asked them, like, if they had a truck, if there's anything they could do, They was like, if you can get it here, we can take a look at it, change the oil from the top, bottom, whatever we needed to do, whatever. So I was like, okay, didn't want to spend that extra money, but hey, whatever, I got it. So I do that. And by the time I got back, I just started crying and just like thanking God. Cause like usually I'd be pissed. I'm not gonna lie. I would be very upset and everything else like that. Like I would be freaking out and just kind of like, why me? For whatever reason, and I'm not gonna say whatever reason, but I knew once I felt that feeling, I was like, okay, this was it. This was what that feeling was about. And I just started thanking God, and I cried because for me, it meant that God is still talking to me, if that makes sense. Like he's like, to where you don't worry about things. And like I even told my dad, I said, I'm oddly at peace at this. Like this, for a minute, I was like very questionable about how I was feeling. Mind you, had been completely sober, no smoking, no drinking. So I was very emotional, and I was just thanking God for everything that happened, and being able to know that, we got a relationship, because I knew God, but we didn't have a relationship. You know what I mean? Like you see people that like when you go places and like people that you went to school with, and you see them, Like, you don't speak because we didn't speak in high school. End up getting a tow truck. Tow truck takes me to the place. These people basically tell us not to take the car off the bed because there's nothing that they can do and it's a liability and all that. I said, so why would y'all tell me to come up here? Now, at this point, Christina, probably a year ago, would have lost all control, would have burned down the building, would have did something, would have cussed somebody out. I'm not going to lie. Not going to lie. Would have cussed somebody out. The driver of the tow truck even told me, he was like, yeah, you're better than me because I would have like cussed everybody out for this. Like, this is crazy. This is nuts. And I was like, you know what? I said, but at the end of the day, it's not going to solve anything. My car's still going to be messed up. I still have to figure out something to do with it. So what's the point? That was the God in me, y'all. I'm telling you, it was nobody but. It was nobody but. It was nobody but. And I thank God, like, that whole day. So tow truck takes my car to whatever, to the house. I'm good. Left alone. That was that. And I went back. I started working. And I called it a day. So fast forward throughout the week, this was, I still had that feeling, like, I was like, I feel like something else was going to happen. I didn't know what it was, but I just like, it's not, this week isn't over. Like, I don't know what's going on. So I can't remember what day that week it was. I think it was Friday. I got a DM from my brother, which was weird because he has my number and didn't text me, but I didn't question it. I started to get that feeling again. And he just asked if I could get to my grandparents that day or the next day. The crazy thing about that day is the moment I woke up, mind you, I'm still waiting for a car so I can go anywhere. I've been sitting in the house since Tuesday. So like 3-4 days, been sitting in the house. But when I woke up that Friday morning, all I could think about was my grandmother. Like, literally, I don't know where it came from. And it may have been because the night before, my cousin, she was like, you need to call them. And I called, but no answer. And then the mailbox was full. So I was like, okay. When I heard that, I was like, okay. And before I talked to my brother, I had already made my decision. I'm going to go down there. Like, something is telling me to go down there. And when I got that DM from my brother, and he was like, it's time, I'm just like, at this point, lump in my throat, I need a car. I need to figure out what I'm doing today. Like, it needs to happen today. Because my grandmother had been diagnosed with cancer, I want to say back in 2021. And that hit me like a ton of bricks because I lost my maternal grandmother to cancer in 2008. So it was just almost like history repeating itself. And it took a lot out of me. And one thing about me is when I grieve or deal with anything traumatic, I shut down. I'm not saying it's right, but that's what happens. And so when I got the DM from my brother, it took a lot out of me. But I couldn't make it about me. I couldn't make it about me because it's like I knew something was iffy. So I got the car, and the very next day I went. They put her in a hospice nursing home. Either fast forward, because like all this is still really, really fresh. Basically, I went and I saw her, and she saw me, got to speak to her, and the next day she passed away. So that was a gut punch, and I never told anybody this, and like I said, we're in the spirit of being very transparent. I knew I was gonna cry. I feel guilty. I feel extremely guilty because I feel I made excuses as to why I didn't want to, why I couldn't make anything. And the thing is, it's like, it's the same thing that happened with my other grandmother. When I found out she was sick, I just distanced myself. And it wasn't anything that they did. I didn't even realize I was doing it until it was too late. And that has been eating me up for 8 days. Because I'm recording this way later than I need to. And what really is a twist of my heart is being asked for pictures. And I have none. I have one, thanks to my bonus mother, but you don't see our faces. It was the last time she ever hugged me, which was around, I want to say it was around this time last year. And she hugged me so hard and just cried. And I cried, and I feel guilty. And so this distance is a different level. It's not a grief. Like, even when I went in and I hugged her, I told her straight up, I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I wasn't there. I'm sorry I made excuses. Like, I told her, I'm sorry. That's all I could say is, I'm sorry and I love you. So our family is dealing with that, and we're going to get through it. One thing I know about my family is we're going to get through it. We have services this Saturday, and I'm fully prepared to have my moment, just as much as anybody else. But in the spirit of transparency, that's why it's taking me so long for this episode. That's why it's just, I haven't had the energy to do anything. I haven't had the want to. The depression piles, if you know, are getting ridiculous. And I'm just trying to get myself through each day. My kids are not here, so the will to even get up is crazy. So I've scheduled gym sessions every day to make sure I'm good. And I'm just really into my word and just really going through it. Because when all this happened, I went and had me a couple of drinks. Not about to yai. Maybe even smoked a little bit. Not gonna yai. But that is not where I want to be, and I just didn't want to feel or think about anything. So that's where that came from. And just like all of this is just to make me realize I have a long way to go in my healing and being transparent. It's uncomfortable. It's full of highs and lows, moments of clarity, and moments where you feel like you're back at square one. Because, like, at one point, I had already prepped my ex-husband and told him, hey, if this happens, I prepped him a month ago when we got news of weeks. If this happens, I need you to hold the kids down. Okay. So then, fast forward to me calling him, and it was like, okay, but are you going to be back next weekend? I got plans. I lost it. I completely lost it. Like, I didn't even think twice. And, like, after I had that conversation, I felt so bad about myself. I'm not, and if we're being honest and transparent, I don't feel bad for going off on him. I don't feel bad for none of that. If you listen to this, you know me. I don't feel bad for that, because I meant what I said. But after I got off the phone and the things that I've said after that, that he didn't hear, and the way I felt going into that, I feel bad for that, because it's not me. I never want to, and I realized, like, because I told myself years ago, I never wanted to be brought back to that moment. And of course, he's the one person that probably could trigger me that bad. Granted, I will give you that credit, okay? But I told myself I never wanted to be there again. And I got there. And I was so disappointed in myself. And it made me realize that, like, I have to give myself grace. like once I made the decision to heal, things wouldn't just magically fall into place like I thought. Like I thought I was healed, and then you do stuff like that and you get so disappointed in yourself. But that's the reality of healing. It doesn't mean you won't struggle. It just means you're learning how to navigate those struggles differently. Like, and like I said in my first video, social media makes it seem that healing is aesthetic. It glorifies the soft life and heal girl era. It's easy to feel like your healing journey has to look perfect. But like, can we be real? Healing is not aesthetically pleasing all the time. It's crying in your car after therapy, which I've done countless times. It's rereading text messages you shouldn't be reading. Did that today. Oh, voice notes. Hey, is what it is. Is what it is. I'm not perfect. It's having to actively choose not to fall back into your old patterns, even when they feel familiar and comfortable. And it's crazy because I heard that follow your heart is the most demonic thing you could tell somebody. And the more you think about it, it kind of is. Because if you follow your heart, baby, you gon' end up in a world of hurt. But if you sit there and you seek God first and you follow what you see instead of how you feel, it may hurt a little bit, but you're going to thank yourself later that you don't have to keep going through it. Like, it's... People love to show the glow up. Like, that's what's crazy. People love showing the glow up, but not the work that comes before it. But that's why I'm here. Your fairy godmother. To be real about the process. Healing is about progress, not perfection. It's like going to the gym. I ain't trying to be perfect. I'm trying to be better every single day. 1% better every day. You know what I mean? But one thing I've learned in this healing journey is, like, God's grace covers me even when I don't feel worthy of it. And when I tell you I have not felt worthy of his grace for the past few like week and a half, I'm telling you, there have been moments when I felt like I was failing, where I slid back into old habits, reacted in ways I shouldn't have, and just felt lost. Like, if we're being honest, I feel lost now. But I know I'm not. Because what I come to understand is that healing isn't about never messing up. It's about learning, growing, and giving yourself the same grace that God gives you every single day. Because the thing is we're sitting here beating up ourselves. God's already trying to get over and show us what's next. Okay, you fell down. It's like with your kids. Okay, we're not gonna sit here and allow you cry for too long. Okay, get up, dust yourself off. You all right? You learned your lesson. Now let's try it this way. Like, he didn't call me to be perfect. He called me to be obedient. And part of obedience is trusting him even when healing feels like a struggle. Even if it feels like I don't know what's going on. Like, and that's one of the things I have to tell myself every day is like, God, I don't know, but you do. That's one of the things I say. And just, this is going to be, like, when my car broke down, I was like, this is all for my good. Like, walking to the oil change place, this is all for my good. This is all for my good. This is all for my good. And I'm like, I may not see it now. But I guarantee I know it. It's going to, like, it is a mentality change. It is a practice. It is a choice. So if you're in a season where healing feels overwhelming, where you're questioning whether you're actually making progress, I want you to know that you are not alone. I'm in this with you. I am going through it currently. And this is why it's an audio only episode. Because, like, when I tell you my face broke out in stress hives, like, the acne is real. That, and in that time of the month, on top of that acne, y'all, you are not seeing me. And I almost didn't even want to record this episode. I was just going to say screw it like I did a few months ago. But it just kept nagging at me. And I feel like if somebody gets it, I've done what I needed to do. Healing is hard, but, like, you got this. Healing hard, but so are you. You ain't soft. We got it. And you don't have to have it all figured out to be on the right path. As long as you know where you're going, as long as you know how you do it, keep showing up for yourself, even on the hard days. Keep giving yourself grace. even on the hard days. And most importantly, keep trusting that God is working in ways you cannot see yet. That is the, that one hit home for me. Keep trusting that God is working in ways you cannot see yet. And that's all for today's episode. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. You can DM me on Instagram or leave your comments there. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, send it their way. We're all in this together. Thank you for listening, and until next time, stay healing.